The door opens, and there's our neighbor. Totally naked, covered in oil.
What?
What? Hey everyone, welcome back to Delve Deck Stories. I'm Gabe, and I'm here with Tess, and today we're going to be talking about some nightmare neighbor stories from our Delve Deck series. This question comes from our original Delve Deck series. What's the creepiest encounter you've had with a stranger? And it's from Maggie. I used to live in a city row house, and my next door neighbor was really into loudly having sex with her windows open for the whole neighborhood to hear. Way to go.
Good for you.
Yeah. This was awkward for me because I didn't know her very well. I would wave when we saw each other, but I didn't feel like I could go up to her and say, "Hey, can you please close your windows when you're having sex? The whole neighborhood can hear you."
Yeah. Would you
I would
say something?
Okay. I do have someone in my apartment that is pretty loud.
Yeah. Do you know who it is?
No, maybe. Well, actually, the acoustics, it kind of bounces off like the alleyway between both buildings. So I'm pretty sure it's my building, but it also could be the one that's next door to us.
Oh. Wow, that's pretty loud. A building next door?
There is a moment or a part of me that I would be like, yeah, I would totally say something. And there's a part of me that's like...
I would absolutely never say something.
Yeah.
I would be way too...
Would you ever like yell at the window, be like, "Shut the hell up"?
No.
No?
No, I would be so...
sees you.
I would be so embarrassed. I don't know.
I would yell out the window.
I
would yell out the window.
I would just be like, you know what? Maybe it'll end soon. I wonder how long could it possibly last?
I'll just turn this TV on.
Okay, one time, I do have a story. I was sharing a hotel room with my dad, and all of a sudden, the people in the room next to us started having sex really loud.
Oh.
And my dad just like picks up the remote and slowly starts turning up the volume.
He's like,
said
let's
nothing. It was just sort of like, let's just pretend.
One Saturday, while returning from errands, I noticed a man sitting on the neighbor's steps. As usual, her windows were wide open, and she was going at it with her boyfriend. Pow, pow. Way to go. As I got closer, I realized this pervert was listening to her have sex and had his aroused Johnson hanging out of his pants.
Some dude on the street.
Just a guy in a stoop.
Okay, but I feel like this person must have some like voyeurism thing. To have your window wide open, unless it's like summer, I guess, and you don't have AC. I
there's
don't know.
no way that she didn't know that she was making the noises.
Like,
Right? Like, she can't be that oblivious to be like,
No.
"Oh, I'm having sex," and I'm like, "A quiet little mouse," you know?
Yeah.
And he's, the guy's also like, "We're so quiet. Nobody hears us."
Nobody could hear this. No, they know.
Yeah. And the fact that they had the window open, for sure, I think it is voyeurism, where it's like, I want people to know I'm having sex.
People to be jealous, and I'm having good sex.
And it's like, we don't need to know that. We don't need to know that people are having sex. We can just safely assume that. Well, actually, I don't want to talk for other people in terms of like, I don't know how.
Some people aren't having sex.
Yeah,
Gabe.
whether that's out of choice or not, I don't know. But people are not always having sex, so I guess never mind. But it does feel like it's kind of putting in people's faces who aren't having sex. And then there's this dude who's like, great, don't gotta go very far. I'm on the stoop. Not a man, but a pervert, as they said, was seated right next to my door, and there was no way to get into my house without getting within about 18 inches of him.
Oh, no.
He saw me and patted the spot next to him on the steps like he was inviting me to join him.
What?
Oh, no thanks, weirdo. I changed direction and decided to just go get a bite.
Did you say I changed direction?
I changed direction and decided to go just get a bite to eat while waiting for him to move along.
Oh, direction.
Direction. Okay.
All right, sorry. Continue with the story.
Thankfully, he was gone by the time I returned, and I drafted an anonymous note to my neighbor about the perv on her steps and dropped it in her mailbox. That way, I could avoid the awkward conversation, but let her know what kind of creeps her behavior was attracting. I guess that's a okay way of going about it.
That's the only way I would go about it.
Yeah. Do
would be
you think,
anonymous note.
Do you think she typed out the note, wrote out the note, or made it like a ransom note?
I hope ransom. I hope she cut it out of magazines.
There are pervs outside of your home listening.
The patting being like, I know what you're here for.
Come on, take a seat. I'll show you my ways.
We're all doing this.
Yeah. Everybody's doing it. Oh my gosh.
Is that it for that one?
That's it.
All right.
This question comes from the original Delve Deck as well. Describe the most annoying neighbor you've ever had. And this one is from Jared. When I was in college and I first moved off campus, I lived in a crappy apartment complex close to school. This place was basically the dorms 2.0, and everyone living there was a student. The walls were extremely thin, so you could hear everything going on in your neighbors' apartments. Obviously, there were a ton of parties, but that wasn't even that bad compared to the guy who moved in next door to me. He would wake up at 5 a.m., blast techno music, interesting choice, and make so much noise. It sounded like he was bouncing off the walls. Maybe he was.
He might have been.
Maybe he was. Don't know, what he was doing. He was always cheering and would occasionally have what sounded like long phone calls, all while blasting music and jumping around. On the few occasions I did run into him, he was usually sprinting to or from his car. Okay. He had the most...
very fast man.
Yeah, very fast. He's like a jumping bean. He had the most energy I've ever seen in another human. My roommate and I were pretty sure he was doing lots of drugs, and we didn't want to cause any problems, but we were also sick of getting woken up at 5 a.m. every day.
Would you take this guy or a sex lady?
I feel like I would, in terms of like approaching.
I don't know, just like having as a neighbor.
Oh. Sex lady?
Yeah, I feel like sex lady.
Sex lady is like, it seems to be on a schedule of like, it's on the weekends, and it's not really disrupting my flow of things, versus 5 a.m. this guy
techno music at 5 a.m. That's too early.
I have a theory that this guy having long phone calls, waking up at 5 a.m. blasting tech, like maybe he's international person, like maybe he's from Europe, so he's like making phone calls to family, blasting techno.
Yeah, like, just some Euro. He's a Euro DJ.
Yeah, like I honestly, like maybe he's like practicing his set, and he's like jumping up, getting hyped. Maybe that's what, I don't know. I could be wrong.
We'll find out.
Finally, during finals week, my roommate snapped. He told me he couldn't take it anymore, and we had to go over there and tell him to quit blasting music so early in the morning. I didn't want to talk to the guy, but I agreed that we had to do something about it. The next morning, bright and early, our neighbor had his music on and was stomping all around his apartment.
I just love his guys on the wall.
Heavy boots.
He's just so loud.
He's like, let me do the thing that's the most annoying here.
Yeah.
The next morning, bright and early, we went to his door and knocked. No answer. Knocked harder. No answer. Is he alive?
He's got really loud music going. Can't hear it.
We hear him scream, "What?" and start stomping towards the door. Maybe he's like so hard of hearing the techno music is just like barely.
It's so quiet.
He's like, this sounds
him.
Perfect for me.
Oh, it could be.
Probably because he was blasting all that music.
Yeah, it's not good for your ears.
He wasn't a big guy, but I was still ready to run. The door opens and there's our neighbor, totally naked, covered in oil.
What?
What? My roommate,
slippery man.
What is going on? Around. He just slides across like his risky business, like
just bouncing off the walls, just sliding everywhere.
Just oil all over the walls, just bouncing, butt cheek marks all over, footprints on the ceiling. Like, how did you get up there? My roommate starts yelling at him to turn the music off. He starts yelling back that he's just doing his job. So maybe he is a DJ. We're like, what the f*** do you mean? Well, it turns out he was a cam boy and had a big following in Asia, hence why he had to wake up so early. Okay, so it's kind of right.
Yeah.
But not all the way, but kind of.
I mean, yeah, international. Yeah. And he is working.
He is working. It's his job. So in a way, he's kind of like a DJ. A jockey.
Yeah.
Hey! I'll be here all day. My roommate and him kept screaming at each other, but I was like, it's way too early for him to fight with a naked man. Agreed.
Yeah, no, it's never a good time to fight with a naked man, I don't think.
He's also slippery. Like, you don't know where he's
going. You can't fight him.
You try to grab him and he just slips away into the night to his car. And
just sprint around some more.
So I quietly went back to our apartment. The altercation did absolutely nothing to solve the problem. And eventually we moved out. But he was by far the worst neighbor I've ever had to deal with.
That's crazy.
He won.
Yeah, I think I'd take sex lady over this 100%. Guy.
Because at least with sex lady, you don't see someone naked that you don't want to see.
Yeah. And like it's not that... She's not getting up at 5 a.m.
Like, you could also turn up music or you could leave, and do something. But, like, if they're right next door and they're jamming techno music and they're butt-ass naked, covered in oil. Still don't know what kind of, like, is it like a K&Y jelly oil or whatever?
You really want to know?
Oil,
like, I gotta know the kind of oil.
Maybe if he's a cam boy, he's
drop some tips.
Stuff. I'm just saying, like.
Let us know in the comments if you would rather live next to Sex Lady or Cam Boy.
Yeah, please. Our final story comes from the original Delve Deck, which is what seemed harmless to you as a kid that you now look back on in horror. Mm-hmm. And this is from Leslie. Let's get into this.
All right, Leslie.
I used to break into my neighbor's yard when they weren't home, and even broke into their house once. Okay, so we're admitting to a crime. Great.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no. I don't know why that seemed... I guess you're a kid. You're dumb. But yeah, no, you should look back on that in horror.
Yeah. I'm curious how old this person was now. We lived across from the couple who had a really cool yard with a pool, but no kids. I mean, adult life, that seems like a totally cool thing to have.
We've said this on other episodes. If I was a homeowner with a house and a pool, I would get these kids off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, immediately get off my lawn.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If I worked for that pool, I worked for that house, I deserve it.
Yeah.
And these little rascals think they can jump into my yard and break into my house and use my stuff? I don't think so.
No, thank you.
My friends and I were really obsessed with getting into their yard, and they had this really cute golden retriever we all loved. I don't know if I like where this is going.
Oh, no.
I don't know. We'll see. The couple would often go away on weekends, and my friends and I would keep tabs on their comings and goings to figure out when it would be safe to go to their house and use their pool and play with their dog, who was often in the yard.
They just left their dog in the yard, like, alone for a weekend?
Who are you, Ted Cruz? Leaving your dog at home?
I mean, hopefully they had, like, a person coming over to watch this poor dog.
I hope so.
Sounds like maybe they were doing a service.
Maybe. We were doing this one day, and I had to pee really badly. I snuck into the house through the dog door to use their bathroom. I knew they were away, and I didn't think it would be a big deal since I would be in and out in a minute. As I was finishing up in the bathroom, I heard someone say, "Hello?" And I panicked because I was about to get busted. The bathroom door was locked, and I heard the voice call out, "Mrs. Benson, is that you?" I stayed quiet and just stood frozen, heart pounding in my chest. Whoever was in the house was not family that lived there, but it was someone who knew them. Probably the person taking care of the dog, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe their pet sitter or something. The voice called out a couple more times, but I stayed quiet. Eventually, I heard whoever it was talking to the dog, and finally they left. I waited for what I felt like ages, but it was probably only a few minutes before I slowly opened the bathroom door, looked around to see if the coast was clear. Then I crawled to the dog door on my hands and knees to avoid being seen in any windows and crawled back out. I hightailed it out of their yard and ran back across the street before I could get caught. Still have no idea if their pet sitter or whoever it was knew I was in the house. I did not go back over there after that.
That is so scary. And also, I would be so scared as that dog sitter.
Oh, yeah.
Also, like, I guess good for that kid not peeing in the pool.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. You're already breaking and entering. Just, pee in the pool.
Exactly. But also, like, you would think that the person who was house sitting would have heard these kids in the backyard.
Yeah. I wonder if they, like, just came in that moment.
I don't know.
They saw, like, wet footprints.
They're like, wait. These aren't dog prints.
Yeah.
This isn't human or, like, adults. The idea that this kid would break in and then, like, learn their lesson after they got caught, I don't know. It's just, like, that's all it took for you to get to...
I mean, that's pretty scary.
It is pretty scary.
You think you would keep breaking in?
I guess it depends, right? Like,
how cool was this pool?
Yeah, but the idea that this kid would not ever go back, or this Leslie would not ever go back after that, I find that hard to believe.
Maybe she just wants to sound better than she really is.
Because for me, I would probably go back as a kid, but I would there would be like a cooling off period.
I don't think I would break into a person's house as a kid, but the pool, I understand.
I wouldn't break into the house for sure. I wouldn't do that. That would be like I pee in the pool, I pee off in the bush on the corner, or something like that. Like
you're a kid.
I'm not gonna break into someone's house and be like, "What the hell is this kid coming through my doggy door for?"
Yeah. People might have cameras. I don't know when this was.
Yeah,
but...
that's a good point. Now you have a Ring doorbell and you have indoor cameras and outdoor cameras and all this stuff, like you'll be spotted immediately.
Yeah, especially if there's a dog there.
Yeah.
Final thing, which neighbor is the worst?
Ooh.
We've got sex lady, cam boy, and
pool hopper.
Pool hopper. Yeah, there. Those are the names.
Cam boy.
Cam boy, 100%. Hands down.
Gotta be oiled up, making loud noises at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And then that causes you to move.
I think it's absolutely. Cam boy is the worst.
Yeah.
I honestly think the pool hopper, I think I would take sex lady. I would be so annoyed.
Like
Again,
you would go third sex lady? Or
third. Okay. I think that
Cam boy, pool hopper, and then sex lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I get it. It's annoying. But like, again, if I own a home, I'm like, get these kids out of my pool.
Why
get
are you
out
here?
of my house?
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that. The noise is like, that's an inconvenience, and like I've experienced that from neighbors nearby. But it's enough where I'm like, I can close a window, I can walk outside, I can turn on a TV or music or whatever, and like I don't have to deal with it. I can't do those things to
especially
remove a kid from a pool or remove a cam boy from next door.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah, I would agree that it's definitely...
That's the order for us. Let us know in the comments what your order is.
Who knows? Maybe you're into different stuff, you know?
Yeah, maybe you love cam boy next to you.
Maybe you love the 5 a.m. Euro techno music.
Yeah, maybe that is you.
Yeah, and if that is, you're a terrible person. That's our episode. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw today, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you also want to share your stories or get some interesting prompts to maybe bring up some old memories, you can get your own Delve deck to share your own stories with your friends.
To play and share with your friends. I think
somebody wrote a comment. They're like, "Play with your friends." Hee hee.
Yeah, I know. I think share stories with your friends is good.